What's going on, nephew?
None. Doing
How,
good, doing good.
how you feeling?
Feel great.
Good. We have less than 1 week before Christmas,
Yes, sir.
and we supposed to get some snow too. Did you?
Down there, we had snow 3 days in a row. Friday,
Y'all got
Saturday.
snow
Yeah.
3 days in a row?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that is crazy. Yeah, we only got it that one day this week. And then but they saying like next Thursday and Friday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we supposed to get another round. So hey, it probably be.
That'd be good.
Yeah, do you know that places up in New York and Pennsylvania got like 40 inches of snow?
New York and Pennsylvania. That's tight.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, last time we had um like a lot of snow here, it was like
Mhm.
maybe 30 something inches because we got like two rounds of it. Man, that's shoveling. Man, that hurt my back. I remember that. That was a lot of snow. Just going
Last year when I had snow, shovel snow, I got a lot of money because it was a lot of snow.
there,
I ain't
there
like
you
snow.
go. So that you would be complaining there because
Yeah,
you be out
exactly.
there making some money.
Yeah, exactly. So when anyway,
You know what? Too bad you don't live close to me because I pay you to do our driveway.
yeah.
That's all right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. It's good to see you on this wonderful Saturday morning or afternoon now. So we're
Yeah.
gonna get into our overview. So this week, our objectives are to understand the purpose behind a bank account. Then we want to look at sticking to our budget. And then we want to navigate the world of financial decision making. And then lastly, the importance of having a job. So let's get started with our icebreaker. So let me get that set up real quick for you. I'm gonna share my screen. So just so we talk through this a little bit, we briefly touched on, investments and what they actually do and what they mean. So today's poll question that I'm going to share with you now is asking about the term investment and what you think that means. All right, so you should see it pop up on the screen. So, what comes to mind when you hear the word investment? What do you think about? What pops in? What feeling do you have? And I can type it in, so no worries.
Saving.
Saving,
Mm,
okay.
yeah.
So saving is one. Mm, 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 mm.
Mm,
What's some other words?
I would say saving. I would say investment. I would say bank. Like it comes to my head though for some reason. Bank.
Okay, saving, bank. What else?
Um, investment. Saving. Forgot the other word. Budgeting.
Ah, that's a good one. But
Yeah.
any more come to mind?
No, right. No, wait. Yeah, that one more. Ah,
Huh?
it's like on the tip of my tongue.
One thing that comes to mind for me, of course,
What?
I'm older, but retirement is
Dang
one.
it. Yep.
Yeah, so retirement comes to mind for me. Another word that comes into mind for me is financial independence.
Mm.
What that means?
But you're just by yourself.
In a way, if you're thinking about being independent as an individual, then yes, that's being able to handle things on your own and stand on your own 2 feet. You're close because with financial independence, I'm talking about, being free from worrying about money or working for somebody else.
Mm,
My money is making itself while I'm asleep. That's residual income. That's another one I can put up there. Residual income is
mm,
when your money is really working for you. So whether I'm on the golf course, in Africa taking a trip, or in the office, my money is working for me. And we talked a bit last week about what it means to have residual income, or your money working for you instead of you actually working for your money. What's the
mm.
difference between those? See if you can remember from last week.
Working for money is like you working for somebody else and you wanting a paycheck. But when you money's working for you, you can like you said, go out, eat, do what you're doing. Your money still is growing.
Right.
To make
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So what about another word that should have come to mind when you talk about investments? What about stock market?
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
So Wall Street, the stock market, index funds, all that kind of stuff, NASDAQ, Nikkei, you'll hear those terms. The stock market is where you can invest money into different public traded businesses, and you actually own a portion of that business. Depending on how much stock you have, is the types of dividends that they pay back towards you for the money that they make. Now the downside of it is that these companies can lose money too. So
Mm.
if they lose money, you lose money. So if they make money, you make money. So the stock market it has some risk to it, of course, but it is a type of investment in your own future, whereas you're looking towards the gains that you accumulate over time. So you don't just buy stock in one company, you try to what we call diversify and look at many different companies and types of stock that you can invest in, so that your portfolio is what it's called when you look at all the different types of stocks that you have. Also, another word that comes to mind is property, or in other words, real estate. So property or real estate. You know
Mm.
what that is?
A house or a building, basically you own.
Right. It's houses, apartment buildings, land, anything that's considered, property that you can invest in. You can put a strip mall up there, and you can have individual units or properties or storefronts that people can actually lease or rent from you. I mean, these are all different things that factor in. Uh, Commercial real estate are people that deal in properties like the storefronts or larger buildings where like corporations and different companies can house themselves in. So these are all ways that investments really can make sense for an individual, and you should pretty much know about all of them. The more broad your base is as far as investments are concerned, the better it is for you making decisions for yourself in your real life. So let me ask you this question. Which one of these terms pertains to you right now?
I would say um basically I would just say saving and budgeting because
Okay. All
yeah,
right. All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, I would really say all of them pertain to you.
Yeah.
Any ideas and things that you have right now where you could form your own business or make your own money could be lending you or leading you to residual income. You know, residual income, it could even be if you have other people working for you that's out there shoveling snow and doing all of that, which means that the people don't pay them directly, they pay you, and you pay the people that work for you. So if they're out there working and bringing you in income, and you sitting on the couch, drinking your soda, watching the football game, that's still residual income because you have other people who are bringing in money for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why you shift from being an employee to an employer. You're the one that writes the checks to other people so that they can continue to work for you. So that's a good position to be in as well. if you're thinking about, owning a home, which you should, some type of property, everybody should at least, at the very least, own one property. That's their home. Yeah, you might have a 15 or 30-year payment plan to pay off your home, but at least at the end of that term, because you do expect to live long enough, you'll reap the benefits of the type of investment that you placed in your home. And then your home is accumulating in value anyway over time. Hopefully your neighborhood doesn't go down, and then that makes that a reality, because your property should increase in value and not necessarily decrease, but it does happen. So we excuse me. Whew. Sometimes when you talk and when you choose to buy a home, you want to select an area where you feel that over time it will grow. And when I say over time, you want to look 30 years down the road and you want to ask yourself, is this property going to be worth more now than what I'm paying for it now? If the answer is yes, it's a great investment. If it's no, then you might want to keep looking. Plus, you may say, well, I'm not going to stay living here. This is just my first home. I'll move to a better area. If you look at it that way, then you do what's based on your income and everything that you want to do at the time. But it's always good, because a home is an asset. That property is an asset. Of course, you want to think about retirement, because one day you actually want to retire. Retirement doesn't mean that you're old. Doesn't mean that you're 65 or older. There are people who have won at whatever business or career that they chose, and they can retire at 30, at 40. It doesn't matter. Whatever number or age you put in your mind, you can retire. You have to have an age and a dollar amount in your head when you think about retirement. So if there's a certain way that you want to live, you got to say, I want to be able to live off of $65,000 a year for the rest of my life. And if I retire at 40 and I expect to live another 40 to 50 years, then I multiply my yearly income times 50 years. That's the number I need to have in order to live comfortably off of that amount of money. Now, if you have residual income coming in and it can sustain that or more, then you're riding high. But that means that you've had something that you've done with your life that gave you a great return on it, where you've become a millionaire or billionaire over that span, and you can sit back and reap the benefits. Okay, so that's good. That's a quick little exercise I wanted us to dive into. Did all of that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I want to kind of get you thinking that way now, so that these terms that would be foreign to other people aren't foreign to you. You understand what they mean. And when you understand things, that means you make better decisions and you take action on those things. So by the time you're ready to get married and have some kids, man, you should already have some things in place that the average adult doesn't even know anything about yet. And that's the shame of it. But you'll be several steps ahead of them because you already have had a plan over all these years. All right. Cool. All right. So the next thing that I want us to take a look at would be a presentation on financial literacy, of course. It's a little bit hard hitting, meaning that, I know your age, but it's going to allow you to think ahead to like the end of high school, going into your college age years. And it's never too early to start thinking about these things and staying away from some of the pitfalls and traps that some of these people fall into. Because the reason why a lot of people get into dire straits or tough financial times is because they made poor decisions early on in life, and it did not allow them to really dig out and make better decisions. So you kind of want to think about those things now so that you make better decisions when you get older. So let me get ready to share that. Okay, boom. It's about 8 minutes, so it's not too long. All right, here we go.
Have everything you want. Paula and Jerome, former queen and king of the Crestview High School prom, get married and lose control of their finances. Just when things couldn't get more difficult, Paula gets pregnant. Jerome loses his job, and soon their dream life becomes a nightmare. Their problem is simple. They are unwilling to face the consequences of scarcity and search for alternative ways to meet their wants. Meet Paula. She graduated from high school 12 months ago. Star athletes, good grades, good friends. Paula and Jerome had it all. People throughout school said the same thing. They're made for each other. At grad night, they sat and talked for hours, planning their life together now that school was finished. They'd get married and put off college for a while, working to save money. Jerome agreed that his football scholarship to the local community college could wait, as could children. There would be plenty of time for a family after college and good jobs. The wedding was wonderful and a little expensive because Paula and Jerome didn't want to leave any of their friends out. Besides, it was the party of the year. It was worth it, right? The happy couple put $3,750 on their new credit cards to help out their parents, who agreed to pay $12,000 for a wedding. Their new place was sweet. They looked at one-bedroom apartments, but a two-bedroom, two-bath meant they could have friends sleep over, and they wouldn't fight over the bathroom in the mornings. They were both working, so the extra $400 every month wasn't a big deal. Jerome's mom always mumbled that her son's new furniture looked better than anything she had at home. Paula knew it was expensive, but it was smarter to buy the good stuff now, wasn't it? Besides, it was on credit, and they could afford the monthly payments. Paula and Jerome noticed that lunches and dinners weren't cheap. They talked about bringing lunch from their home, but they agreed that since their jobs weren't very exciting, they deserved something exciting in their day. Plus, bringing a bag lunch was a good way to look like a real loser. Dinners were also tough. By the time they got home, they were too tired to make anything, so calling for a pizza or getting drive-through burgers made more sense. On the weekends, there wasn't any food in the house, so they had to go out. Besides, they really didn't have the money to do a big shopping trip, and the grocery store was pretty dreary on a Saturday afternoon. You know what was really shocking? Getting that first paycheck. Paula's yearly salary was about $25,000. That's a little more than $900 every 2 weeks. Jerome made about the same amount of money as a line worker at a factory. But their paychecks weren't even close to that. There were all kinds of deductions, taxes, Medicare, and something called SDI. Paula's boss explained that SDI is State Disability Insurance. He laughed and said that all of these deductions were normal. "Welcome to the working world," he said. Gas was also getting to be a concern. Jerome had an 80-mile round-trip commute, and his truck only got 14 miles to the gallon. He tried carpooling, but Bill, the guy he shared the drive with, was a jerk. He smoked, wanted to leave 15 minutes before Jerome was ready in the morning, and always wanted to hang out after work. Paula didn't mind taking the bus to work, but she wished Jerome would reconsider carpooling. Jerome paid $600 to his parents every month for the truck, which was a little steep, but it was definitely better than riding with Bill. Plus, he'd have it paid off in 3 years. They couldn't get along without a car. The new couple's first utility bill was a surprise too. $170 seemed really high, but they had to keep the apartment cool for Paula's cat. Jerome suggested giving the cat away, but Paula didn't want to hear it. "Marry me, marry my cat," she had told him from the beginning. It wasn't up for discussion. Jerome had a minor fender bender in the parking lot at work, but because he had 2 previous traffic tickets, they canceled his policy. After some shopping, they found an insurance company who would take them on assigned risk. They breathed a sigh of relief until they saw the bill. Almost $3,200 a year. There was no way they could afford it, so they decided to go without car insurance and just drive really carefully. The decision to go without insurance seemed good at the time, until Jerome fell asleep after pulling a long shift at work. He hit another car, totaled his truck, and spent the night in jail. A few weeks later, Paula opened a letter from an attorney. Jerome was being sued for damages. Now Jerome was forced to ride with Bill, who charged him $50 each week for the pleasure of carpooling. But Bill wasn't exactly Mr. Reliable. He was usually late, and some days he didn't show up at all. When that happened, Jerome had to call his supervisor and tell him he couldn't come to work. He really didn't have any alternatives. He depended on Bill. Paula didn't feel well. She didn't know how it happened, but it did. She was pregnant. Now she was throwing up all the time and yelled at Jerome constantly. He sat around watching TV on the days he didn't go to work, and it made her angry. When she bought cute maternity clothes or had her hair done, he grumbled about the money. But she had to do something to feel better. "Jerome," she'd yell, "I'm sick and tired of feeling huge and gross." Anyway, it was her money, or her credit card. He didn't have any right to complain after spending $120 on shoes last month. After 6 months, Paula quit her job. She just couldn't be on her feet all day, which her job required. It would be tough to survive on only one paycheck, but it would only be for 3 months. Because of his transportation situation, Jerome was only working 2 or 3 days a week, which cut his pay even more. So it was no surprise when Jerome got fired. They both saw it coming, but decided there was nothing they could do about it. He could have found another ride earlier in the year, but now, because all the carpool arrangements were set, he was stuck with Bill. His supervisor was nice about it, but she told him she couldn't have an unreliable employee. The perfect dream life together had become a nightmare. Paula and Jerome didn't speak to each other unless they were arguing. They were behind on all their payments and received nasty collection letters and phone calls daily. When their landlord evicted them, Paula moved in with her parents and Jerome went to stay with a friend. They hadn't spoken in a few weeks, and divorce at age 19 seemed imminent. Paula and Jerome were two good people with brains, talent, and opportunity. They loved each other and they were good to their families. What had gone wrong? What had they missed?
Yep. So I can tell you from experience and just from prior knowledge that many of the things that they have gone through are real. They are true and they are real. Those are tough things for people to have to navigate through, and at such a young age. This is why a lot of older folks would tell folks, it's great to be in love, but as far as, committed and marital relationships, 19, 18, 19 years old is really young to get married because you haven't experienced what it means to be an adult yet. And see, that experience is so vital because when our grand and great grandparents used to get married when they were between 16 and 18 years old back in the day, that was fine. You know why? Because a lot of our great and granddads were going off to war, which means that they had payments that were going home to take care of their wife and families if they had already had them. When they got back home, there were jobs waiting for many of them. It's different from what it is today. Back then, a lot of mothers, grandmothers, and great grandmothers also entered into the workforce as well. So whereas back then life was different, now getting married that early without much experience about life is pretty tough in today's society. Because remember, back then they weren't pressured to go to college. When you got of age and you at least got out of high school, remember back then, a lot of them didn't even graduate high school before they had to get out there and work. Or if they went into military service, they had to finish up high school to be eligible. But the fact is, college wasn't mandatory or necessary for people, 60, 70, 80 years ago. So they didn't have to do that. They started working right out of high school, started having families and, tried to live happily ever after. Nowadays, it's tough to get a good paying job to live in this inflated society because of everything that we want and everything that we need in order to survive. We'll talk about needs and wants when we get into the book. But even needs today, that's shelter, that's clothing, that's food and water or drink. Those things cost a lot of money and people can't keep up with those things. So you don't even really get into the things that you want because you're living life every day trying to take care of your needs. So let's talk about this quick video for a little bit. What are some things that you noticed that were either negative or not good about their situation?
What was negative was that he fell asleep while he was driving. And
Right, from work. Yeah, okay. So that was a little bit down the road. Okay.
mm,
And what was the problem with him falling asleep at the wheel of his car? How
he
did it lead to that?
not getting enough sleep because he had to go to work and carpool people a lot, so like that. Yeah.
Right. So he had extremely long days, right? So he was
Mm-hmm.
tired. What was the other problem after he got into the accident?
That you said how he got to the accident?
No, what was the problem that happened after he got into the accident?
Oh, his friend was like, okay, you can wait. After he got to the accident, his friend was gonna let him come in, like let him drive him to work, but every time he was either late, most of the time, and his friend just said, "Oh, bro, I can't give you no more rides because you're not on time at all." So yeah,
Right. Yeah, that's definitely part of it because the guy that he was carpooling with, he had to
yeah,
pay him the carpool, but then the guy was very unreliable. So as a result, what happened because he couldn't get to work?
he just called off and said he couldn't make it, and he only like worked 2 or 3 days a week,
And then
and
what did that eventually happen to his job?
his manager fired him.
Right, he got fired. But remember, after the accident, he didn't have car insurance, so he also got sued and he totaled his truck after he fell asleep. See, these are things that we call a snowball effect. And financially, it buries people. It can have you in a place where you have no more resource and you have to go live with someone else. And sadly, for people that don't have anybody else, they end up homeless. So they end up out on the street. Now, were these bad people? Of course not. You know,
Mhm.
we tend to think that people that are out there begging for money with the cup and stuff like that, we think they, druggies or winos and stuff like that. That's really not always the case. Some of them just made bad decisions and really didn't have anyone to help them to make better decisions and help them get out of a hole. So therefore, like society does, it discards them and they end up homeless and begging for food and shelter. Shouldn't be that way in this country, but that's a whole another lesson that we have to learn. But what happened is nice. They were in love, they played sports, did well in school, but they started to make bad decisions from the top. They said, we're not gonna go to college, we're gonna get married, and we're gonna get us jobs. Okay. Hey, it
Mhm.
sounds nice, but remember what I told you in the beginning. It's not the old days. If you don't have a plan in place where you're going to have at least a decent job that's going to be able to take care of the lifestyle that you want, then basically you really should plan to go to college or a trade school or have a plan to start a business, something where you can say, okay, this is the type of lifestyle that I want to have. Remember, everything that you do always starts with some type of number. What is my age? How much money do I want to make? What address or zip code do I want to live in? Those are all numbers. You have to think about it. If you don't mind where you are, humble beginnings, then you still have to make a plan based off of that. So them getting married right off the top caused them like $3,500 that they didn't have. That's why they used their credit cards. Mistake number one. The
Mm.
mistake wasn't getting married. Anybody that's in love and want to spend the rest of their lives together, if they get to that point where it's there, you do it. But you don't have to spend $15,000 on a wedding. You can spend a couple of hundred, go to the justice of the peace, get your marriage license, and then have a modest dinner together. It could just be you. It don't have to be family and friends because marriage is about you two anyway. So you don't have to spend $15,000. They could have spent a few hundred and got married. They would have stayed out of debt. You see that?
Yeah.
Mistake number 2, in picking where they wanted to live. They wanted to get a 2-bedroom apartment when they only needed 1. And they tried to justify it by saying they wanted an extra bedroom so their friends can come sleep over. Who cares about your friends? I'm just being honest. We love our friends, but I don't need you crashing at my place. I'm not going to have a $400 or more higher rent or lease because you can come and crash every now and then. Now, if you're going to pay me that extra $400 so you can come and crash anytime you want to, and we tight like that, I don't have a problem because it's not coming out of my pocket. And they also did it so they can have an extra bathroom. Like, really? If we love each other and we got one bathroom, we should know how to share. You know, if I got to get up a half an hour early so I can get out of your way as your husband, I'll do that and make that sacrifice so we don't have to fight over the bathroom. We don't need to pay an extra $400 or more a month just to have another bedroom and another bathroom. So that was mistake number 2. Mistake number 3, all the furniture that they bought. Mama even said, you got better furniture than me, and I've been working longer than you. So what makes you think that you need to have this high-priced furniture in your home or your apartment when you're just now starting out? So mistake number 3, get some things you can afford. You don't have to buy the most expensive couch. Get something that's affordable that you guys are comfortable on. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Credit cards. You already knew they maxed one out paying for their wedding. They use credit cards to buy the furniture, you know? Using credit cards to buy food. If you know that you can't afford to eat lunch out every day or eat dinner out every day, then that means you need to sacrifice and go to the grocery store. I don't care how dreary it might seem. Go stock your refrigerator up with things that you can eat on every day for the next 2 weeks instead of you spending $6 a day over the next 14 days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If 6 times 12, right, is $72, and then 6 times 2 is another 12, you spending what, $84?
Is it?
$84. That's a grocery bill right there. That's a grocery bill. If you went and stocked your refrigerator, it's just 2 of them. If you went and stocked your refrigerator up with just simple stuff like eggs, bacon, bread, you know, peanut butter and jelly, get you some cans of soup, get you some frozen vegetables, get you some fresh fruit, things of that nature, 2 people can make stuff like that, you know, stretch a much longer way. You see what I'm saying? So instead of you spending, you know, $84 on luxury items, and let me be clear, that was just one meal. So if you eat 3 times a day, you can multiply $84 times 3. So you spending like $250, you know, on food for 2 weeks, where your grocery bill would have been half that for 2 of y'all. So you got to cut out some of that spending every day. It's just not smart. All right. The next one, their jobs. They didn't fully understand what the difference was between their gross income and net income. And we'll get into that in the book too. But real quick, your gross income is what you make on a yearly basis. Your net income is what you take home after they take out federal tax, income tax, state income tax. You got Social Security tax. You know, some states or jobs have disability taxes. So all of that stuff has to come out. You got Medicare, Medicaid taxes. All of that stuff has to come out first, and then you get your check. And then if you're doing other pre-tax things like saving for your retirement, you know, 401k or 403b and things of that nature, then that's coming out before you get your check as well. Health insurance, that's coming out before you get your check. So they really didn't understand that they don't bring home the full amount of what they make. And remember, they're working for their money, right? That the money isn't working for them. So they didn't understand that. Utilities. Their utility bill was higher because they kept the AC and the heat on normal because they wanted the cat to feel comfortable. Now, that's a real thing. I got a wife that loves dogs, right? We have dogs. She wants the dogs to be comfortable, so they get the same luxuries that we do. So whether we're home or not, they still get the luxury of the heating and cooling year round that we get. So a lot of people adjust, when they're not home. We don't do that here. So our utility bills stay higher. Now, if you can afford it, it's not a problem. But if you cannot afford it, then that needs to be a better conversation. Maybe the cat either needs to go, or the cat needs to adjust to lower temperatures or higher temperatures in the home when you're not there. And let me say this, animals are resilient. They're more resilient than we are. They can survive and not be miserable like we would. So it's not a big deal. All right. Insurance. Okay. Car insurance, other types of insurance like health, dental, all that stuff. You got to have it. So, and if you go without it and you run into a problem like having an accident, then of course you get sued and you don't have an insurance company that can pay out for you. So they got dropped because he had too many accidents. So you got to look out for that. And to top it off, not only did he lose his job, she quit her job and she was pregnant. So all of those things start with how you make your decisions in the very beginning, because it created a snowball effect for them, which probably ended their relationship and their marriage, which sucks, right?
Yeah.
So just look at that, because that's a real world example. And one of the major reasons why our marriages don't last, because people constantly fight over money. And it's not the money that becomes the issue, it's poor financial decision making. If they had changed all those things in the beginning, I guarantee you they would not be where they were in this short sketch. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got to think about staying away from those types of scenarios, and it always starts with good decision making. All right, let's jump into the 7 reasons why you need to open a student bank account. Did you have a chance to either just take a glance at that?
7 reasons. What is that chapter? I don't know, chapter 16.
Nah, I sent that in a link. But don't worry about it, because I don't want you trying to search for it. I'll just share my screen and we'll go through it that way. So just give me one moment. I'm gonna share my screen.
Oh yeah. Last week. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So number 1, there are many choices out there for you to open up a savings account, and it's free. Meaning you don't have to pay any monthly maintenance fees. They don't penalize you because you only got $1 in there, things of that nature. There are a lot of banks, and that just means you got to do some research, but there are a lot of banks and credit unions that will actually let you open up a bank account for as little as $5 or $25, right? And then you just start saving from there. They'll even give you a little debit card or whatever. But you're already familiar with that because your dad got you one of those kind of debit cards. That's actually not just a spending account, that's a savings account. So you can actually start saving there, and those are free. Okay, requires low opening deposits. So a lot of people will say, boom, I've seen some that is as low as $5. You throw in $5 now, we can open up your account. Most of them are like $25 or $50. When you get over into opening like a checking account, it's like $100 is the minimum balance. But a savings account really is where you would just save your money. It's protected. Remember, we talked about the FDIC and all of those, that your money is protected. You are okay. And you earn some percentage points on it. So start saving early. It teaches you good money habits now. We don't always have to spend our money. Most of the time we spend our money, it's on things that we want anyway. And that's where you have to check yourself on how many things do I want? How much do my wants cost? And do I actually need them, right now? That's the consideration you want to think about. Do I need this right now? You can justify yourself into buying just about anything. Oh, it'll make me feel good. Feeling good should never be a reason why you buy something. And I'm gonna just be blunt about that. It should never be a reason why you buy something. You just have to work on your mindset in that area. Because I'm going to tell you, what should make you feel better is you having a nice full stomach. That's food. You need food. When you can, open up a nice refreshing bottle of water or a bottle of juice or soda or whatever, because that's something that you need. You got to stay hydrated. Or, you look up, you hit the switch and your lights actually come on because you need light, right? You can stick the key in your door and go in, and you got a nice roof over your house, so you're not out there in the 20-degree weather freezing to death. Those are things that should make you feel good. And in fact, I wake up every day thanking God that I have these things, because I could be homeless. But what makes me so special that my poor decisions wouldn't have me out on the street, right? So you got to thank God every day that you have the things that you do. So it's just so important. So you're in a good space because you are starting early. So we're checking off all the boxes for you. And this is why it's important for you to let any of your friends know, look, man, I'm learning things that are going to carry me for the rest of my life. And you should tell them right now, you need to be in here too, because don't be asking me for money. Because I'm going to charge you interest if you come to me. That's how you need to let them know. So let your friends know, look, you need to make better decisions with your money. Nah, man, I'm not. First of all, it's COVID right now. This is the best time to start saving your money. We not at the movie theaters. We not at the mall. We not at the amusement parks. We don't need to be out here buying a whole bunch of stuff, because really we're at home. So what in the world you need to be out there spending your money for? This is the time to save right now. If you have debt, this is the time to get out of debt right now, so you can start saving more money, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, it teaches you how to manage money, because now you start learning what a balance sheet looks like. You start learning, what a check is used for and how to write a check. You start understanding what interest rates are, because you look at your bank account, you're like, wow, I got a little bit more than what I put in. That's the interest kicking in that the bank, puts into your account over time. You usually won't see that until you're at least a year in. So year in, year out basis, you'll see the annual percentage rates being added to your money. And you'll start to be able to read a bank statement. Your bank statement will walk you through all of your deposits, all of your withdrawals, how much interest you've been earning. That teaches you some very valuable skills that you'll be able to do that. And of course, you learn how to online bank, which is something different than when I was growing up, because now everything is online. You don't physically have to go to a bank branch in order for you to see all these things, or wait for your statement to come in the mail every month. You can simply log on any day, anytime, and look at your money and how it's doing. All right, safer than, we talked about this last week. It's safer than keeping your money under a mattress. Because what could happen if you got your money under a mattress? What could happen? Why is that a bad idea?
Like the book said, like somebody can rob your house, boom, boom, or tornado come through.
Yeah. Or the most common thing, a fire. But a fire can start and happen just about any time. Nobody really knows when they have faulty electrical equipment in their house. It happens, and this is why we have home insurance, because if there is a fire, everything can be replaced. Now, we have things that are irreplaceable, meaning that our keepsakes, like pictures and things like that, the physical things. But, if we get out of there with our lives, it's nice to know that our insurance company will write us a check so that we can, go live somewhere else, pretty much. And it's a devastating thing. I pray to God we never have a fire, but fires are accidents. They happen. You never know when they're going to happen. People fall asleep cooking on a stove sometimes, and then a fire starts in the kitchen. So things happen. Nobody, starts a fire in their right mind to start burning things down. So it's safer. It's in a bank. Somebody can rob the bank. The bank can burn down and get hit by a tornado. You still have your money. Excellent. Stepping stone to a credit card. So again, this teaches you the value of money and how to spend money. So when you finally get a credit card, remember, credit is money you don't have, but you're allowed to spend it. because the credit card company is saying, yes, I'm going to give you a line of credit so you can spend this amount of money, but you are going to pay me back with interest. Thank you very much. So they don't mind doing it because that's how they make money. If you learn how to spend money responsibly, you won't need to use credit cards that much. But if you're in a situation where you have to use a credit card, you're also responsible enough to pay it off before those interest rates punch you in the mouth. Remember, we talked about that. It's fine to use a credit card because it shows that you're responsible, shows that you have good credit history, but you want to pay that thing off as fast as you can so that you don't pay as much interest as they would like for you to pay. So when you have those good spending habits, sure, you can use a credit card. You're not maxing it out. You're not using it for frivolous things or just once you have, just because it makes you feel good. You actually think about the purchase before you do it. And you say, you know what? This will only make me feel good. It won't do anything for my household. It won't give me a return on investments. Remember, when I tell you about return on investments, when you spend money on things like microphones, right? Because I'm a podcaster. I teach online. I need to make sure people can hear me clearly. I need to make sure my recordings are clear. I buy a nice top of the line microphone. I got speakers, I got mixers, I got things that I need in order to do that. Did I buy some of that on credit? Of course I did. Did I pay the credit off? Of course I did. But also these devices are bringing me in money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you talk about things that you need, a need is something that's going to put money back in your pocket too. It's not just going to fill my belly or keep a roof over my head, keep my utilities paid. It's also going to be earning me something back into my bank account as well. So things like that are considered investments. So we talked about that. So yeah, it teaches you good spending habits. And then when you look at 7, ready to exert financial independence. So now, when you learn these things early, then you don't have to worry about your parents in your ear wondering why you making these types of purchases, because you're already the wisest person in the room, because you've already told yourself, no, I don't need that, or I need it because it's going to serve a purpose for me moving forward. And the things that I want, you get them when it's affordable. You hear me?
Yeah.
So that means if it's time to purchase a new car, purchase that new car when it's affordable, not because you want it, not because it's the new thing on the market. Oh, them 2021s are always going to look good. Car companies and any other manufacturer is designed to make things look good. That's why the Apple iPhone 12 looks so nice. They want you to say, I want that, but they want you to get it on credit. Matter of fact, let me just be honest with you. Let me just be totally honest. The people that make these products don't care where you get the money from, long as the money that you pay for it goes into their business, into their pocket. The car companies don't care if you got a check that you can write for $30,000 for a new car when you walk in there, or if you got to finance it through them or another credit agency. They don't care. They get paid. What you have to think about is, can I afford this? Is it reasonable for me to make this purchase right now? And how will it affect my budget and my household for the things that we need? Makes no sense for a kid to have a brand new cell phone, Jordans on their feet, but yet they walk out of the door every day and there's no food in the refrigerator. That makes no sense. That money that was spent on those items could have been spent to more than stock that refrigerator, so that you can go to school and actually learn instead of thinking about your stomach all the time. You lethargic, you tired, and you don't want to do anything. That's why good financial decisions have a trickle effect on everything that we do. So you want to be positive about the things that are going on in life. That makes sense?
Yeah. Is there?
All right. Any questions or concerns before we dive into the next chapter of the book?
Is there?
All right. Cool. So now we're at the chapter where we're looking at Sean, the skater, right? What things about him popped out to you? What things about his character or his lifestyle or the things that he's going through stood out for you?
His mom and his dad are like barely around because they're both doctors.
Right. They make a good living, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
but
yeah.
they're extremely busy though, right?
Yeah.
Busy parents don't have a lot of time to parent their kids. His parents probably have wonderful spending habits, but they're never around to teach them to their son. So
Mm.
therefore, he's not learning from them. He's learning how to fend for himself, and he's learning from other people. And this is good and bad. He's learning good and bad things. But what he's seeing from his parents is how to be a bad parent. So he has to realize that if I'm going to be a parent one day, I got to make sure I'm not ignoring my own children just because I'm busy. You know, it's great to make a wonderful living, to be able to do all these things, nice home, nice cars, you know, the wonderful, wonderful world of traveling and having the greatest food in the house. That's great. They're doctors. Everybody will probably clap and pat them on the back for doing well for themselves. But on the other hand, what is their son learning? All right, what else did you notice about him?
Um, he wants to. He don't want to be a doctor but his parents want him to be a doctor. He just want to be a go to California and just skate. That's what he wants to do.
Now, is he talking about just skating, you know, just to be doing it, or is it some type of career?
Career. He wants
Right.
to. Yeah.
Right. As far as we know, he could be the next Tony Hawk, right?
Yeah.
But what would his parents know about that? Because somebody at the door. What would his parents know about that? Because they haven't poured into him. And in fact, they've been discouraging him because they think that his hobby, his passion is a waste of time. Right.
Mm.
All right. What else did you notice about him?
Uh. That when he said I need some money for something, his mom just pointed to the purse and he was like, oh, into like a huge stack and put it in his back pocket with the other money he had.
Right. So now we're finding out where some of them get their money from,
Mm.
because they have money. He's just getting money. He's doing something smart though. He's taking his lunch to school, but telling his mom he need lunch money. Now I don't advocate lying, right?
Mm.
But he's not using that for lunch money. He's actually saving that money because he probably has something in mind that he wants to buy with that. So what I'm saying is he already has a certain understanding of how to save money. He's just saving it in the wrong place. It's in his pocket. It's not gaining any interest there. And then what happens on his way to school if the neighborhood thugs want to rob him, right? They're going to snatch that cash right out of his pocket and he's going to be broke again. So he doesn't have his money in a secure place. And because his parents are professionals, if he went to them and said, "My dad, I want to open up a savings account, bank account," they would do that. And then he could take that money that he's pocketing from his parents and put it in a bank account. That would be the smart thing to do, right? All right. What else
Mm.
did you notice?
He's the same like Brandon. He needs that grade up, so he went to the after school money club so he can get his grade up just like Brandon.
Okay. So he
Um,
might not desire to go to college, but he does understand the importance of getting his high school diploma. He knows that it'll be tough for him to even be able to follow his dream of skateboarding if he doesn't at least have his diploma under his belt. Here's what finishing high school means for people. It means that you have the ability to actually finish something. People who drop out of school for whatever reason, and they can have very legitimate reasons. I had to support my family, had to work and things like that. But folks want to know that you can finish something that you started. And if society says, the law says that you need to have a 12th grade high school diploma, GED, whatever it is, then those are the things that you need in order to accomplish, to follow through, because that's important. And in fact, any good employer who takes you on without a high school diploma will tell you that you need to go back. Go to night school, work for me, but go to school at night, get your GED or high school diploma, and then let's talk about moving you ahead. Because you can't get into a trade school, you can't get into a college, community college, junior college, 4-year college without your high school diploma. You can't even go into the military today without finishing high school. So that is the very minimum that people need to accomplish in order to move ahead in life. So to be legitimate, you want to make sure that you at least got that under your belt, and he understands that. So college is not for everybody. But I like the fact that this teacher here says that, but you have to have a plan. You can't just say, oh, I'm just going to draw the rest of my life, but you don't have a plan of how you're going to use your drawing and your talent to make you some money. You know, these are the things that you have to plan before you act. Plan before you act. Don't say this is what I want to do, so I'm just going to do it. But then people ask you, well, how are you going to get that done? And you're like, I don't know. It just seemed like a good idea. I'm talented in this area, but talent is not going to feed you. If you don't have a plan to execute your talent and for people to pay you for your talent and your passion, then what good is that talent or that passion? You must have a plan. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we get further down into the chapter, and I like it because this guy, Kyle, that comes on the scene that's talking to him, he's a recruiter. And being a recruiter, or what we call in the industry a headhunter, is a person that actually goes out for a particular company and they find talent for that company. Like, here's an individual that will work really well with our company. These are people that get paid to actually do that, and they get paid very well. But Kyle said, look, I didn't go to college, but I had a plan. I knew that when I started working in high school for a particular company, I had a desire to grow in my skill set with this company. They hired me. I was an intern. I worked, my tail off to get to where I am now. They trained me. And now I'm out here telling you guys the same things that people poured into me. And I make a good living doing that. But I didn't go to college. That's why when people say you don't need to go to college, look at this successful person. Well, that person had a plan. Yeah, it's true. You don't need to go to college. You don't have to go into the military. You don't have to go to that trade school, but you have to have a plan. Like people say, oh man, I got the dope lyrical skills, man. I can rap. Man, fool. If you don't have a plan of how people gonna even hear your music, you'll never be discovered. So you can't just drop out of high school, talk about I'm gonna sit in the basement with my computer and make beats and put my tracks on it and think that I'm gonna just get out there and people just gonna discover me and I'm gonna become Jay-Z or Lil Wayne or something. I mean, you gotta work at that. You gotta have a plan. To get discovered, you gotta have a plan of being discovered. Whether you're gonna be up in somebody's face, bugging them, saying, listen to my tape, I ain't gonna leave you alone until you listen to my tape. I mean, you got to have some type of plan of action at how you're going to be successful. But until you get that plan, then you got to think about, well, how am I going to earn a living? Sometimes you got to just earn some money while you still work at your craft. And there's nothing wrong with that. Many people like me, I do it every day. I work my main job, but I'm also working my other job, which is my craft and my passion. Because one day, my craft and my passion is what's going to be to sustain me and my household for the rest of our lives. And it's going to be good money. So those are the things that you want to think about. So needs and wants, we talked about that a little bit already. These are the things that actually sustain your life. These are the things that might not necessarily make you comfortable, but they keep you alive. I know what I drive now, and I love what I drive, but I used to drive something else. I used to drive a bucket, a hoopty, so I understand what it means when your muffler fall off your car and you just driving and the junk going, whoa. But guess what? I'm getting somewhere. I'm not on Metro. I'm not walking. I'm thankful. I know I got to spend a few $100s to get the muffler fixed, but I'm going to get it fixed when I get paid, but I'm going to keep on driving. You see, you learn to appreciate the things that you have, because the needs and wants can be kind of tricky for people. You know, do I want a brand new car? Of course I do. Do I need a brand new car? No. My car out there runs just fine. When I drive my car, people say you got a nice car. Thank you. I thank the Lord that I have a nice car. I knew what I used to have. It may not be what I see that's a 2021 that I want that's on the parking lot, but I don't need it. And do I want to inconvenience myself with a high car note just to make that happen? The answer is no. Now, when stuff need to be fixed on my car, it's going to get fixed because that's a necessity. I got to have wheels. For what I do, I got to have transportation that gets me where I need to on time, and I'm not worried about a bus or somebody else taking me there. So that's important. And see, it's great to be married because you share resources anyway. So if something happened to my car or vice versa, my wife has a car, so we still good. But anyway, needs and wants. Any confusion on needs and wants? All right, so let's move ahead. You're already a veteran of SMART goals, so I don't need to spend a lot of time there. Just know that you always want to do everything in life based on those SMART goals. You want to be specific. You want to make sure they're measurable. You want to make sure they're achievable, relevant, and timely. Those 5 things will order your life in a way where it's like, it's beautiful. So now we get into the end of the year. So the beginning of the year means that we take our SMART goals that we have here, in our gut and on paper, and we make vision boards. I like making vision boards every year because it allows me to plan out my year, you know, and look at the things that I plan for 5 years ahead and see where I'm on track. So I love that. I love it. So might do it with you, but we'll see. All right. So have you thought about getting a job yet at your young, tender age?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Now I know you do the lawn care and the house, the shoveling and all that kind of stuff. If that is what you're going to do, then I applaud you. Nobody's saying you got to change it, fill out a job application, and actually go work for somebody, even though doing that is a great experience when you're getting started, because he talks about, you know, W-4s and all that stuff, taxes and all that stuff in these chapters. But if you're working for yourself, you still want to use those good money habits and make sure that you're saving, you have a balance sheet, you have a budget going on and all that good stuff. And if you have people that work with you or for you, you keep track of what they're making as well. So that is good. If you have any other ideas of work, tell me, give me one other idea you might have for a job.
I want to work out. I was thinking about Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
And another spot, I was like, maybe McDonald's. You know what I mean? Because it looks
But,
easy.
but let me tell you this. You don't seem like you're afraid of any type of hard work, especially some manual labor, because you came up with your own business idea. You would actually stand to make more money building up your clientele doing your own business than getting your tail up to a Chick-fil-A or McDonald's doing shift work and them paying you, you know, minimum wage and things like that. You could actually make more. Matter of fact, I know you could make more if you continued on your own. All you have to do, because you provide a service, you just have to increase your clients. That's it. Get more people on your Rolodex. That's an old school term. Get more people on your books as clients that you can say, I have 10 to 20 steady people who every week to 2 weeks, I'm cutting their grass, edging up their lawns, trimming their hedges. You know, if they need me while I'm there to take out the trash and do things like that, these are extra services that I can provide. But I at least got down these 10 to 20 families that are locked in, that I know that if it starts snowing, I got some driveways to hit in the wintertime. When the leaves start coming down, I know I got some leaves to blow and rake in these particular people. So what you're doing is you're establishing them being clients year round, because these things are going to constantly happen because they have a yard, right? They have a driveway. So basically, if they like you, man, you can do that until you ready to move on and go off to college or whatever you decide to do. But then if you leave the area, you just pay some other young buck coming up to say, hey, these my clients. You take care of them. I'll pay you this much. And then you got some residual income because they're going to pay you directly and you set the rate that you're going to pay the person that's going to take over that area for you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So man, if you keep thinking like an entrepreneur, a business person, and then you know how to utilize your money, man, you won't ever have to step and work for a McDonald's because you'll be making more than what they cut you in a check anyway. So just think about that. Just think about that. All right. So W4s, they show you an example right there. It's really nothing to it. It's just a way that you'll be taxed, in your paycheck, and you want to make sure that you do your withholding and allowances correctly. And like for your age, your dad still claims you, so you would pretty much put zeros on all of your stuff because he still claims you as his child. So basically, they'll tax you at the right rate. And you won't really have to worry about owing any money at the end of the year. They'll actually be paying you back in the form of a tax refund. So that's good. And you usually get that between February and April if you decide to file early. So that's pretty good. Any questions on that area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So then chapter 8 talks about, him starting up his business. So the money that he's saving and getting from his parents could be for him to actually start, designing skateboards and refurbishing them for people and stuff like that. Because always remember, it's going to take money for you to make money. There's no such thing as I'm going to start a business and then the money just going to start pouring in. In fact, your first couple of years in business, you might lose money because you're trying to gain traction with the market that you chose to be in. So that means you buying your materials, your supplies, you paying for business cards, logos, website maintenance, hosting, all of that stuff means that you got to pay in order to be able to market your business because people got to know that you're there. Now, you don't have to spend big bucks on it, but you're going to have to spend something. So that means in order to make money, you got to spend money. So he could be doing it for that reason. But I love his idea about refurbishing skateboards because he's already on IG. He has followers. He has a community of people who, if he starts letting them know, I started a business where I'm refurbishing skateboards, he'll already have clientele that like him, that are into skating, that will come to him to refurbish either their boards or he can get some other ones and sell them to them directly. I think the idea is ingenious because it's related to what he's passionate in. So there'll be not one day in his life that he'll regret doing what he does because it's related to what he's gifted in and what he's passionate in. He's an artist and he can skate. Those are two wonderful things to do. All right, it goes through the top 10 business ideas for teens, and lo and behold, yours is in on there. Lawn care. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yours is right in there. It's right there. So you are in that category of what teens do most of the time to earn their own money. And then I also looked on here, you could also do car washing too. I mean, why not? Why not? Why you already have these clients, they have cars, right?
Yeah.
So you can say, look, I cut your grass. I mean, I don't have another client till like 3 o'clock. You want me to throw some suds on your car too? They might be like, yeah. So then you just made some more money. That's why you should never be bashful about opening your mouth. If you have people that have needs that you can fulfill, go ahead and ask them. All they can do is say no. All they can do is say, I already have somebody else that do that for me. And if they say that, you say, well, what's up? What they doing it for? I could probably come in cheaper than them. I could show you that I can do a better job at them, maybe at the same price range. See? So you got to learn the power of negotiating and talking as well, because a lot of people, they don't care who does the service for them. They just want it at the price that they want and they want the quality that they expect. If you can give them those two things, then even if you raised your prices later on, they would still stay with you because they love your quality of work. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that brings us up to the types of businesses that you want to have. This book is kind of limited. It gives you limited liability and sole proprietorship. There are actually some other choices of how you can label your business, even if you do a nonprofit. There are a lot of young people who do nonprofits as well, but I'll talk to you separately about that because that'll probably be one class all in itself. So I want to transition on to what I want your journal writing to look like this week coming. So let's go and take a look at that. So the journal writing I sent you in your email. So if you didn't look at it, you have it. So it says, what were the negative experiences that Sean was enduring? So I want you to go back and reflect on some of his negative experiences that we were talking about, with his parents, with his whole outlook for his own career, his desire not to be a doctor. I want you to actually write those things out. Can you relate to any of them? So I want you to put yourself in his shoes. Write about if you can relate to some of the things that he's gone through. And then what lessons can you learn from his experiences and yours? So that's your journal writing for the week. All right, the last thing that I want to do, and I'm gonna just introduce it to you because I know you'll play it on your own. It's this financial football game that Visa and the NFL have partnered on to bring to the forefront. And I've played it myself a couple of times. It's actually pretty fun, but I'm gonna introduce it to you. I have the web link on what I emailed to you, our agenda for today. So once you open that, all you got to do is click on the link. But I'm gonna share my screen with you and kind of give you an introduction of what it looks like. Have you heard of it before?
Okay.
Let
me see what you're talking about.
All right, so let's accept the cookies. All right, it's called Financial Football. So let's play online. So this is sponsored by the NFL and Visa. So what it does is you play the game like you would be playing like Madden and stuff like that. I don't know why I stopped my screen sharing. Let me go back. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
All right.
This looks good.
Yeah, I need to hurry up, finish loading. I should have started loading it while I was still talking. That way it could have been ready. Well, let's read the question. It says, did you know your parents' private health insurance can cover you until the age of 25? I think it said 25 or 26. So what that means is even if you graduate from college and get a job, you can stay on your parents' health insurance so that doesn't come out of your check directly, and you can save some money in that area until you reach the age of 26, and then you'll have to get health insurance on your own. So that's a good thing to know too. I like the fact that they take it that long because a lot of kids are going to graduate school. All right, do head to head. Well, let me do single player first. Who you want to be?
What you got? I say the Raven.
Raven?
Yeah.
All right.
What you got?
Go with the Ravens then. All right.
Okay. Let's see.
All right, come on, man. way. This thing taking forever. All right, here we go. So you get the whole like Madden feel with the stadium, the crowd, all that stuff. Okay, did you know if you opt out of overdraft, oh, it's going too fast. Oh, that's another thing we can touch on too, identity theft, because that does have an impact on your financial well-being, because sometimes you got to spend some time refuting some things that are on your credit report. I've certainly been there. My identity has been compromised at least a couple of times. People sometimes will get your credit card number by fraudulent practices, and they'll start using it. My incident happened when actually I was traveling down south, and I used my card at a gas station. Then when I got back home, I noticed some charges from that same state. And I was like, that's where they got me, at that gas station. We did all this. All right, Will, you got the link because I don't want to keep you too long. We're already over time. So just go on and play around with it and just let me know what you think about it. Sound like a deal?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, so I at least wanted to show you that it is fun, and it asks you like some financial questions. So you're actually learning in between the plays. So, you know, you can run, pass, you know, score and all that based on your answers that you give to those. So check that out and just let me know how it goes for you. Uh-oh, hold on. Maybe they're ready. Hold on.
There you go.
Here's the tail.
Hey. Let's go.
You want the ball?
Yeah,
Or kick?
Yeah, let me get the ball.
All right. Oh! No, I thought you got
He had it. He had it.
All right, so let's do an easy short game. Which play you want to do?
Chips blunt drive.
Huh?
Chips blunt drive. Yeah.
All right.
This is gonna look good.
All right, answer the question.
I'm gonna say pause. Yeah.
True. All right, let's see what happens.
Nah.
Oh, 2-yard loss. You gotta get that back.
Whoa.
Let's go medium range.
Oh my
What
God.
play you want?
Double slant. Yeah.
All right. You better get it.
Okay. Wait. The foul charges are deducted from your
Come on, we about to get a delay again.
No, wait, all three.
3?
4. Yeah, three.
All right, you said 4 like
Yeah.
Oh, you got a penalty.
Yeah, second.
Oh, we gotta get this back. All right, we need medium again. What you wanna do?
HB slant.
Which one?
Top. Right
Slant?
there. Yeah. Oh my God. This is.
All right, come on. You gotta hurry up. 25 seconds.
Credit card that. One.
All right, let's get this back. Gotta get this back.
What they gonna give me? 2 yards and 6. Oh, yeah.
Alright. We need 10 yards. Gotta go medium. Which play? Pass?
Yeah, right there. Yeah. Oh no. Makes me think.
10 seconds.
I say 4. God, no. No, yeah, right there. 4.
No, check.
Oh my God, I should have said. Okay, yeah, I like this. Yeah, I can do this. Oh, Lord.
All right, you got to hang up. All right.
Yeah.
So just
I can
log
do
on
that.
and start learning from that. And let me know when you want to do a head-to-head. We can do it too.
I probably could do you. Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna let you get up out of here. I will holler at you probably either Christmas Eve or on Christmas Day.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
All right. See you later.